Welcome to the first episode of the Mysteries for the Mundane and Profane, everyone, where I can't draw for shit, so I use AI and MS Paint for my complete lack of artistic talent. And today we are going to talk about Genesis from the point of view of Gnostic Christianity. For anyone who actually gives a shit, the references I am using are Hypostasis of the Archons and the Origins of the World from something called the Nag Hammadi Library. I'll put them in the description. In a nutshell, Gnostic Christianity insists that the Christian God that we have come to know and love is not a strong and benevolent God, but a voyeuristic cosmic sadist known as the Demiurge. While Christ, on the other hand, is not the Son of God, but the serpent in the Garden of Eden who was sent to save Adam and Eve from the Demiurge's horrible, shitty, and brutal universe, who was sent from the realm of Babylon. I mean, Barbell, bro. Oh, wait. Barbelo! With all that out of the way, let's start at the beginning. In the beginning, there was nothing except your boy Chaos, who decided to engage in cosmic coitus with silence. And from that came these things called aeons. Think of them as ideas or concepts with no material form that will definitely not leave the light of the pleroma. And so it went. They began to multiply and largely turn into a pretty big family of all these divine emanations. However, one evening, Wisdom, also known as Sophia, decided to act as a strong independent woman against her father's wishes, so she got to work with her own DIY toolkit to create an emanation of her own and completely fucks it. Upon this cosmic fuck-up, came this demented looking thing that governs our universe who will become to be known as this cosmic psycho known as the Demiurge. Upon the whole pleroma deciding that the Demiurge looks like an aborted fetus,
Brother, what's that?
he was tossed out of the pleroma into the Canoma. He then woke up in a daze and does a little bit of thinking without really understanding what just happened or questioning where he came from, and says to himself, "There is no other god but me." From that, he decided to create his own world with blackjack and hookers. So he gets to work and decides to make these henchmen called archons that will govern the universe that we live in. They are kinda like corrupt politicians and CEOs, but on a cosmic scale. Isn't that fun? After he was done creating his torture device that we now know as the Cosmos, he gets to work on creating man. At first, he and the archons just thought they could throw random stuff together from the cosmos and make it work like some kind of twisted version of the orcs from Warhammer 40k. The Demiurge then realized in order to animate man, he needed to breathe into him some of his own divine spark that he had got from his unknowingly estranged mother, Sophia. So he does it. So there he is, the first man, Adam, not having a clue where he is, why he's even here, or how he got there. But even this level of questioning was way too much for our insecure cosmic ruler with the collective ego of Hollywood and the wisdom of a toddler. So he decides to split the power of Adam into two, and there is his partner Eve. Now that they are well and truly ready to enjoy this paradise, he decides that the first man in the Garden of Eden should have one rule of not to eat of the tree of knowledge. So in order to make sure that this transgression never happens, he puts it smack in the middle of the fucking garden. So, as they are there supposedly enjoying paradise, Christ takes the form of a serpent and comes down and says to Eve, "Hey, your God? He's kind of a liar. Just drink this ayahuasca, eat the fruit of good and evil and you will kind of get to the point of what I'm talking about, becoming gods and stuff." So Adam and Eve have a cheeky little bite, and upon having that bite, they somehow just figured out that they were naked. They went and hid away from the Demiurge and he asked, "Damn, why are you running?" It then occurred to him that they had just eaten of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So, as punishment, they were kicked out of paradise and were condemned to toil the earth and only be concerned with earthly matters, enforced by his council of overlords, the archons. So instead of coming to know God, humans will instead only be concerned with work, family, politics, and Funko Pops. So that concludes our first episode of the Mysteries for the Mundane and Profane. Hope you enjoyed it, watching it as much as I enjoy creating it. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more future Mysteries for the Mundane and Profane content. Bye for now.